What's going on, Tamers? It's Editor Varney. Yep, that's right. It's dark. It's the wee hours of the night. We're not gonna talk about what time it is exactly. This video is it's a video of old that we used to do. We used to record deck profiles at the end of TBLs and put them up, and there are some of you who wanted to see those kinds of videos again. So ask and you shall receive. This is that video. Have fun.
All right, so Law, you have won Tamers Battle League number 65 with Royal Knights. Tell us about your deck.
Hey, so my deck is Royal Knights. I play with 4 BT13 Magnamons. They're just really good to start off in the hand and cheap to play down. I play 4 BT20 Omecamons. They're just really good. Just in the long run of just replaying them out each time by suspending Drazel. And also, it's a good way to stop my opponent from finishing me off when I have 1 or fewer skills. I only play 3 BT13 on Mechamons. I would like to maximize this to a 4, but I only run 3 just because I like to make room for other pieces, and I don't want to run 0 from other lists I've seen, because if I have Cool Boy out, I would like to throw down another piece as soon as possible, because this deck is focusing more on rushing down my opponent to set up for a combo piece later. Then it's going to be 2 Lord Nightmons. Card is just really good for replaying any of the level 4s and is an additional redirect for a blocker. 2 Dynasmons. Card's just for searching. If I ever play it off from Purge and play out another smaller Royal Knight like Magnamon or another Lord Knight, for example, because they're the cheap cost ones, I could start removing big boards down. 2 BT20 Jesmons. Card is just great. Brings out another body, takes out an 8k DP Digimon on board. The token will have blocker and decoy. 6000 DP, really good. 2 Genkumons. Originally I had this at 3, but I brought it down to 2 because as many times as I kept seeing it, if my Drazel stack does not have more sources, I won't be able to play anything out, so then it just becomes another card in my hand that doesn't have the full effect value if there's no good Royal Knights I want to play out. It does come up really well to play out Aces from my stack. 2 Alphamons. It's just here to help keep me in the game if I'm getting low on security. Just on play, recover, really great. A lot of my Royal Knights are at 2s just because for consistency's sake, I see them most likely at a 2. If I see them in my hand, it goes well paired with another one. I don't often want to see more than 2, but like 2 is just the best ratio for me. 2 Medieval Gallants, really good for clearing out wide boards. One of the best cards in the game. Expect everyone to grab their copies now. They're really good. 2 regular BT13 Gallants. This guy's really good. I love playing him out, rushing, swinging, play out from Purge, then swinging. If my opponent has something larger, pop it. Really good card. It's going to be 3 BT13 Omnis. I don't run this at a 4 because most of my game plan isn't really always Omnimon bring out all his friends and swinging out for game. I could do that, but just having it at 3, I will see it at some point because there's now the new option card that searches. 3 is just fine with me. I don't need it at a 4. If I have them at a 2, I will probably won't see him at all, which might cost me the game if I really need to see him as badly as possible. It's going to be 4 Omnimon X's. This card is great. Everyone who sees this in play or is using it, they know how good it is. Raid, piercing, and blocker. All you had to do is play him out. End of turn, give him rush, swing, pierce through a body, do a check. Really good. Play him out through a purge, swing. End of turn, swing again without suspending. He could do multiple checks and whittle down your opponent, which comes in well with this Omnimon. Because if you have fewer sources after he does 2 checks, you only need a few Royal Knights tucked underneath the Drazel to go for game. 2 Jesmon GXs. Mainly here just for the Blast Evolve. I rarely use this when attacking to unsuspend and trash top card. It doesn't come up too often for me. I'm usually at the point where I am about to eliminate my opponent and everything. Really good for Blast Evolving. On play as well, in case I need to remove a body. 2 Crimson Mode Aces. Today, this came up so much where if my opponent's down to three securities or less, most of the time they're at 2 because I'm already swinging with a lot of bodies. It pairs up well with Omnimon X. Usually if I have a Purge, I'll purge out Omnimon X. Hard drop Crimson Mode. If we already have more than 20 cards in our trash, he can trash 2. So usually purge him out, swing security, then play him out, pop a up to 15k DP, use his end of turn to let him swing without suspending. Based on the trash amount, trash the rest, and he could potentially go for game. Really good card. Helps me about 3 times in this tournament today. Really come up in rounds, especially when I know there's a blocker on the field. He'll help me, and then his on play will just go ahead and delete him out the way. 2 Alphamon or you can aces. Can't really blast into him, but his on play, pretty good. Minus 15k DP. Effectively, it just eliminates any good threat that's on board that's not higher than 15k DP. His all turns came up so well today. All I usually do is use Purge, play him out. Then I play out Galamon, for example, through the reduction cost, have Gallant swing, gain 3 memories. Really nice. Or I can just purge him out, have him swing, gain 3 memories, as long as nothing is on board threatening me from gaining those 3 memories. It pairs well today in my final match with Genkumon, where all I had to do is use Purge, tuck in or you can ace into my Drazel, then play Genkumon with the reduction, play out Alphamon or you can give minus 15k, then have him swing. Really lethal that way, and it just provides you an extra Royal Knight to tuck in afterwards. I'm going to run 4 Last Guardians. Card is a Searcher, really great. I really wish his security effect could come off really well, but most of the time in my hand, I don't have the Mecha or Cool Boy in hand or trash. Yeah. It should come up more often because I'm running the maximum Cool Boys and 7 Omechas, but if it doesn't come up, that's fine. It gets in a delay, helps protect your Omnis or Omni X's just for extra swings or keeping him around inside Drazel. For the Royal Knights of the Purge, I've mentioned this a couple times. Playing out any of these guys with Royal Knights underneath Drazel, really effective. Also, just tucking in an extra body to help speed up the block of Royal Knights underneath Drazel for the big countdown slash or reduction. Really good. I love it when this guy's in security. This card is out from security. It gives me a chance to play out any of these from my Drazel if they're tucked in. 4 Cool Boys, the best card that just helps speeds up this deck, and it just ramps up the draw power, which this deck obviously needed a lot more after searching. Drawing your pieces gives you a wide range of versatility. And 4 King Drazels because we need it to start off the whole game. Some of my matches today was round 1. I had Ghost, the one with Necromon and Violet In Boots. We had a long game 1. I was learning the deck of Ghost and how it functioned. It really worked out in my favor for deleting some of my stuff. My first game, I've been actively spamming out my Omechamons every time my security got checked. Suspend Drazel, play it out, acts as another blocker afterwards. If it gets deleted, it gets tucked in. If it survives another round, I get to use them to swing at security. Good to chip it down for my end game. Also helps with the earlier combo of Omnimon X and Crimson Mode. A lot of cards in trash helps me just trash the rest out security and swing out for game. Game 2, I had a match with Chrome. I believe it was Chrome. We had a Royal Knights Mirror. I think it was Chrome. Yeah, we had a Royal Knights Mirror where I won the dice roll, so I got to go first and start off my stuff and won that. Game 2, I lost. He started off his. The Royal Knights mirror is very interesting. Uh, as long as you have the Omekamon out, you could really just disrupt the mirror match when they play out all their bodies. If there's an ace among them, and you have Omekamon in your sources and on the X in hand, as long as you have at least a security left or enough so you can play him out and meet his on-play requirements to go to Omni X, you can effectively board wipe as long as they don't have a last Guardian out to protect their last Omnimon. But you can effectively board wipe, take out an ace, possibly steal turn, and hopefully you have a Omnimon like I did and just Omnimon back at him. One of my other matches was an interesting combo of Shakuamon and Alphamon or Yukin Ace. That was a deck that I did not see coming, combining both decks together. With Edamon, one of the strongest level 5s in the game, I still believe, just to give the start of main attack. At one point, I tried challenging him, thinking he doesn't have the ace, but he had the ace. It's a scary deck that, if they have protection, it's almost untouchable. One of the key cards that came up so well in my match against Leppy's combination of Alphamon and Shakuamon was Medieval. As long as he doesn't have protection, I try to get rid of his board as soon as possible and keep him out on field, because one of his requirements usually is to DNA. Once he DNAs, he gets a bigger stack. It can do a lot more. Him being out on the field stops him from hard dropping bodies and getting that advantage for me. And my last few games with him turned out to be a little bit in my favor, as I had an answer to a lot of his stuff while also maintaining my board and keeping him in check with memory. The deck does so well with keeping memory efficiency down to my opponent when passing turn. These cards you really would like to see in your hand at the start. Magnamons, any of these options, or Cool Boy. These help sets the tone out for the rest of the game. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, cool. So, are there any changes that you're thinking about making in the deck post tournament?
Post tournament, I did thought about my mirror match with Chrome. I thought about the Leopardmon as much as I love it and how Chrome used it to play an extra body. I'm going for more the aggressive path where I really want to chip down my opponent's security. Anything I would like to change, I like the ratios. The only thing I would fiddle around with is like an Omekamon. But like I do like the ratios how it is. I still keep 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. I'm more of like 2 of everything. Any more or less kind of disrupts the balance for me. I like the way that it is. Increasing Alphamon just gives you an extra recovery, but then when you have too many Alphamons in hand and you kind of waste turn just by playing one out just to recover, doesn't help me, versus seeing him once and having someone else to help me out. I would like Genkuamon at a 3, but we still keep him at 2. If he plays out any of these, it's the exact same way if they're in Drazel versus my hand, but just seeing everything at a 2, I like those ratios.
And if you were taking this deck into a regional, you obviously might expect to face some amount of Royal Knights. You could face none, but you also could face, a ton, because obviously you played against Royal Knights, was it once or twice tonight? It was just one mirror match, right?
Yes, just one mirror match. One of the key things that this deck probably won't do too well against is Floodgates. I did see Chrome run Queen's Device. It's a really good option card to use to out a Floodgate just by giving it -3k or stopping ace plays. I would like to try to fit that in there, but because of the ratios I have, the only flex spot I can think of is just this type of a mecha. This is way too good to lower it down. This is the only flex spot I see I can whittle down. I don't want to remove any of these. Any of these in security would be a blessing. And any of the Royal Knights I have added to, it's pretty much fine. I wouldn't want to downrate any of the others. The only thing I could probably lower down is maybe one of the one of the aces, maybe just the Gallantmon
No,
Crimson mode,
so
but I love seeing it in hand anytime I get a chance.
no, Gallantmon's definitely the more useful ace because of what it's capable of doing. Considering the ratios that you have, your better bet would actually be to drop a Jesmon GX ace. The big consideration that I have is you run 2 Jesmon, 2 Genku. Generally, most decks run 3 Jes, 2 Genku, or even 4 Jes, 2 Genku, meaning that on your opponent's turn, you have a bigger threat for Jesmon GX, which can do a lot. Without that, I mean, obviously, yeah, you can hard play the Jesmon GX. It's still good. But if you were going to make a cut for a floodgate popper, that could be a cut. You could get away. Obviously, I put Omekamon BT13 down to 2 in my list as much as I hate it for that floodgate removal. Lord Nightmon or Alphamon are your other considerations based on what the deck does. There are times that Lord Nightmon would be a dead card in your hand, so to say, comparing to what you could face. But the bigger question I had is if you're heading into a tournament and you're expecting the mirror matches, would you consider running the BT13 Alphamon that is the Tuckosaurus under?
10.
And if you do, or no, yeah,
Let play cost
10 or
7
higher.
10
10 or
or
higher,
higher
yeah.
attacking. In that case, I still wouldn't want to run that Alphamon. I still keep this Alphamon overall. This one has more application versus that Alphamon. If I'm afraid my opponent's going to be swinging, usually I'm going to have blockers out. That was the one key thing in my mirror match with Chrome. When we have blockers, we really just try out each other's blockers, because if they try to go for the Omni play, they have to be wary of this Omekamon in my source.
Right.
Versus that other Alphamon, it's good, but I don't see his applications being used elsewhere too much, especially when so much in the game we have so much immunity by Digimon effects.
Right.
Otherwise, it wouldn't do anything.
Got it. Another consideration for you, and just a curious question. So you talked about Leopardmon, and we all know how good a card Leopardmon is, but have you considered at all Leopardmon X? Leopardmon X does the same thing as Leopardmon, but instead of giving blocker to everything on play, it gives or bounces something back to hand. Obviously, in most cases, like against Floodgates, you wouldn't want to be bouncing things back to hand. But are there any applications you can think of where you could utilize what Leopard X does, and especially if you combo Leopard X with the likes of Medieval Gallantmon to achieve some sort of game plan? Or does that kind of, I know you talked about disrupting sort of the aggro style that you play this deck in, so is that something that's more disruption to your game plan?
That would be more of like a specific thing I would need, because most of these cards that I have right now, this is more like if I see it as a one-of in my hand already, I have some type of use for it. Maybe Lord Nightmon today was just like not seeing any level 4, so it was just kind of a dead card in my hand. But most of the time, if it's a dead card, the Purge of the Royal Knights comes into play. For Leopardmon X, to help play out Medieval and also reduce costs further if there's more Digimon on board to suspend with, I could see the potential with that, but I wouldn't like to cut down most of my ratios. Then it would just end up me hoping that I have Leopardmon X with Medieval for the best plays of reducing. Otherwise, I would have to play any of these other ones for much higher cost if Leopardmon X wasn't being played out through Purge. In the likes against Imperial or Purple Hybrid, for example, those decks rush you down so fast. Even if you have a blocker, let's say like Lord Nightmon to redirect attacks against Imperial, it doesn't do too much justice when they could just either suspend you and then just be higher than you. So Lord Nightmon is only the real good counter against it versus all these blockers, because they'll just suspend you. And Lord Nightmon's the only one that could redirect an attack against Imperial.
Yeah, realistically, against Purple Hybrid, you just kind of got to eat that. If they don't have it, then they don't have it, and that's what you kind of bank on. You're just inherently going to take
Purple
longer to
Hybrid
set up.
Options and Tamers out of my security.
Right.
Otherwise, they're just going to eliminate everything on board. And the only thing Purple Hybrid can't stop me pretty well when they change my color for me to Blast Evolve is going Crimson mode on top of Medieval or regular Gallant, because he's got the special text to Evil.
Right. I mean, the
Other
consideration in those types of in that type of scenario though is to not give them a lot on board. So ideally, you know, obviously you're a Mega Zoo deck. They hit one of your megas, but you know, we have that sort of luck where we have what 11 low level bodies. They'll hit like 3 of those. One high level body on the swing that doesn't matter because it'll be like 15k, and then
But
yeah, some option.
against some of my testing in Purple Hybrid, if I live long enough and we trashed enough cards and I see the exact 3 combo pieces, just purge, play out Omni X, maybe do a check if needed, but then just hard play this and just swing trash out the rest for game.
That is pretty good.
That's
I do like that combo
that,
a lot.
that helps a lot against Purple Hybrid, but against Imperial, I'm pretty sure this deck just usually just folds against Imperial. If they got the combo ready, they go to Pyodramon, starts checking. Because they have jamming, all these high DP numbers in security do not matter to them.
Yep, pretty much.
And yeah, just stopping the Omeka, even if the Omeka plays out the Omni X, the partition is what really kills me, because it's like they'll partition their stack, play out the other 2. I bomb their deck 1, but then they usually have enough memory to go for more if I couldn't keep them in check. And Imperial kind of does well in stopping me from gaining so much memory at the start if they haven't already played out their dual team.
Yeah, that's definitely a pretty big thing. Imperial is probably the matchup where you kind of have to turbo medieval, no matter the cost.
I actually believe Imperial now, if they're not bricking, they're probably one of the best decks in the format if they're running Hex of Well. Because they have a really good answer to pretty much a lot of the meta decks in the game.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's what makes them super scary. But maybe this weekend we'll see what happens. If they're untouched, then they could still roam around freely with their Davis and Kens.
That's a fact.
So thank you guys for watching this deck talk video. I don't know what we're calling it just yet. It's gonna be deck tech for now. If you guys liked it, please drop a like and also drop a comment. Let us know what you thought about the deck, any changes that you have considered making, anything that we should consider, and also subscribe so that you know when future videos come out. But more importantly, go sign up for the TBL because you definitely want to play in these tournaments. Until we talk to you guys next time, peace out.